Welcome to the Pro Sports Podcasters on YouTube. My name is Cobe. Most of you know me as Kobe from the podcast. And today I'm taking a look at what you should be identifying to select the best possible players on Sorare NBA. These are players who are likely to exceed their point values. And there are a certain number of situations that can lead to that. Because if your players exceed their point values in each game week, you're going to win. You're going to finish in the money. So that's all you really want to do. Now, of course, my strategy involves carrying a certain number of players all the way through the season. And I'm going to stick to that. But there are situations where I will sub in a player or two if the situation warrants the possibility of a huge jump in point value. So what I've identified is this particular week, and this is week 6, we've had a couple of players start games and then get injured. And most people see that as a negative. I actually spoke to one of the people on my Discord, and if you haven't joined the Discord yet, we have a dedicated Sorare NBA talk. There's a link in the description. Be sure you join the Discord, because if you want to know the most up-to-date information on Sorare NBA, that's where you should be. And one of the people on the Discord, his name's LaMelo Ball Goat. Obviously, he's a LaMelo Ball fan. But his current lineup in week 6 has Christian Wood in it, and Christian Wood got hurt. And he will not be playing the remainder of the game, so he feels a little bit down because that basically kills that roster. But to be honest, he should be celebrating as well, because Christian Wood only put up 10 points. Okay, he got 10 points, fantasy points in that game, right? The Sorare NBA scoring system. And that's way below his value, his point value of the last 10 games, which is 28. So what this is going to do is the next time around, it's going to lower his point value. It's going to create a false floor because he doesn't put up 10 points. That is not a Christian Wood stat line. But that particular week, it is because he got hurt. And it's not like Sorare NBA. It's not like the algorithm factors in how many minutes you played. It doesn't care. All it cares is how many points did you put up that particular game, and that gets factored into your 10-game average. Same thing happened to me. I had Chris Paul in his first game basically stub his heel and sit out the rest of the game. He only put up 9 points. Now that's a far cry from the 34 he's ranked at right now. So again, when the recalculation comes out, it's going to lower his value. Now when I started playing him, he was at 32, and I'm like, that's fair. He can exceed that. He can have those boom games, but he can also have bust games. But that's how my team is built. It's built around boom or bust players. But again, the lower their point value, the better it is for me. So the occasional game like that, where a player just shits the bed for some reason, whether it be an injury, whether they foul out too quick, something happens where they're a little bit under the weather, so the coach, holds back on the minutes, whatever it is, you want those situations to happen on occasion. It's a good thing for you. And it's also something you should be looking for when you're identifying players to purchase. Look for players that are coming back from injury. Look for players who maybe had a couple of games where they fouled out early, and as a result of that, in the last 10 games, they've got a couple of low values that stand out to you. Because if you get them now, their expected value, right, that point value cost is going to be below what it should be. And until it gets back to where it should be, it's an advantage. And even when it levels out to where it should be, you're neither here nor there. You're not really worried about it because you're basically paying what you should be. And you can always look for more players that maybe have situations that allow them to boom at certain times of the season. But unless you're dedicated to constantly buying and selling, or just accumulating more and more and more players, like me, you're going to want to carry a few guys for the majority of the season. And because of that, I would suggest, and this is going to sound counterintuitive to probably most of you, but I would suggest you pick a couple players that have a little bit of an injury history, that maybe are a little bit older and sometimes get rested for some games, or will only play half, and the coach decides, oh, he's lost a step today, we'll sit him for the next half. Those kind of players can benefit you because their point values will never be representative of who they actually are. And when they do get to play a full game or a full slate of games, they're going to pop and put up significantly more points than what you pay for. So that's why I've got guys like Chris Paul, although Chris Paul was a win for me. It's someone I actually won in week 4. He was a tier 2 contender moment reward. But I got excited when I got him because one, this guy can pop, and two, he's a little bit older and he's got a little bit of an injury history and he doesn't play all the games, but that's fine by me. Because when you have these games where he posts 9, it's going to make it so much easier for me to play him next week. It makes it so much easier to play somebody when, first of all, they cost less, and secondly, you can expect them to post more, right? You don't sit there and think about it for, 50 minutes trying to decide which guy should I go with. The choice becomes simple. So I like guys like that. I got a guy I won in week 5 who I'm going to reveal at the end of this video. So stay tuned. You'll see what my tier 2 reward was for the contender in week 5. Again, week 4, I finished 77th. Week 5, I finished 76th. So I'm killing it, right? I'm killing it right now. And it's my boom or bust theory is working. And luckily, my guys are booming. I'm going to have weeks where they bust 100%. But there are so many weeks. You don't have to win them all. But if you can finish in the top 100 like I have been every now and then, you're ahead of the game. And one of the ways to do that is to identify players who've posted games that are way below their expected values. That's all I'm saying here. Look for that. And trust me, you'll have some winning weeks as well. Now let's see who I won in week 5.